New York City is awesome, isn't it? Look at those shots. Pretty terrific. Even more terrific, the fact that the legendary international sailing competition, the America's Cup, comes back to New York City for the first time in nearly a century. The multi-day event, sponsored by Louis Vuitton, brings a collection of the world's most experienced sailors and the fastest boats into the world's most, I'm going to call it the world's most iconic harbor, or one of them. Maybe Sydney is up there. The preliminary events are scheduled for May 7th and 8th, where teams will attempt to position themselves for the World Championship, which will be held in Bermuda in 2017. Joining me now is America's Cup CEO, five-time world champion, Sir Russell Coutts. Russell, good to see you.
Oh, great to be here.
How long did you work to get the race back into New York Harbor?
Well, I think it's always been an objective to try and get the race back here. Of course, it originated here in a way because a group of very influential New Yorkers challenged the best of the British fleet and then brought the cup back here and named the cup after the yacht that won. So, you know, it's got quite a history here.
Talk about the course, and I know I'm going to let Jack take over because Jack's a sailor man.
Okay.
But talk about the course and where it's going to be.
Well, the modern America's Cup, it used to be raced out to sea, and not many people could see it unless you had access to a boat and you could get out there. But now the racing's right in close to the shore.
You were showing a map of it too.
Well, it's right on the Hudson River, in between Battery Park and the Statue of Liberty. So you can watch it from the shoreline. It's free to the public. And you can either go down and watch it, as I said, from the shoreline, or bring a boat down and watch it from the sides.
And these boats are incredibly fast, and what most people probably don't understand is they actually go much faster than the wind. I mean, you'd think the wind would blow, if the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour, that would be your max, but these boats can go 45 miles an hour in 20-knot wind. How do you fit in a space that small? You're going to be going back and forth constantly.
Well, it's very athletic these days. You know, the sailors are real athletes. In fact, we put heart rate monitors on some of the sailors last time, and two of the sailors, their heart rates didn't drop below 180 beats per minute in the 25-minute race. So it's incredibly physical, and these sailors they can manage the boat around the tight confines of these courses.
One interesting thing also is the television coverage of this. I mean, it used to be that watching a yachting race on TV was not the most exciting thing in the world, but there's now new technology that shows so that you can actually see the grid line and you know who's ahead, which is a good start. What are you doing to try to boost that audience?
Well, that's one of the main things, is to make it more understandable, and clearly a non-sailing person can now follow the race and know who's winning the race or who's gaining or losing, and they can see that clearly from the graphics. So that was one of our major focuses, and also defining the field of play, because before it was a wide open space and there wasn't really any relativity to it, whereas now that you can follow the race within the confines of course boundaries, and you know that makes it more understandable as well.
Talk about the cost of putting a team together. Have the costs continued to go up as the technology has improved?
Well, the technology's obviously fantastic. It's always been part of the DNA of the America's Cup, but the teams voted to race the races this time in smaller boats, so they voted by majority vote to do that, and also make the rule more similar between the boats, so less about the technology differences and more about the skill of the sailing teams. And of course that promotes closer and better racing, which is great for the event. And in actual fact, in the first three events of the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series, first four events, there's been 3 different winners. So that shows that it's a very, very competitive series.
Can you handicap where it's going to go? Now, America will be in it because we're the defenders this time around. So internationally, who are the top teams? And can you take it all the way to the finish? Who's going to win?
Well, it's hard to pick right now. I mean, right now, Emirates Team New Zealand's leading the standings, followed by Oracle Team USA, and then followed behind them is Land Rover, Ben Ainslie Racing. But the team from Sweden's very, very good, Artemis Racing. The team from Japan's very, very good, SoftBank Team Japan, as are the French. You know, so it's really too tough to call at this point.
And how fantastic it's going to be to watch these teams compete against this with the Statue of Liberty as a backdrop. We're lucky to have you back here.
Well, the New York backdrop's fantastic, isn't it?
Well, we will welcome you with open arms, Russell. Thank you so much for being here. It was great to see you. Sir Russell Coutts, take care.